I'd like to take a moment to thank my channel members. Thank you. It's continued support like yours that keeps this channel growing. And if you haven't already, please consider joining today. Hello and welcome, I'm Bert the Stormtrooper, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy Leader Class BLITZWING, and I'm really excited to be checking out this figure. Released in the summer of 2022, this is brand new, starting to hit store shelves right now as of the time of this recording. I found mine on the store shelf just this morning as of the time of this recording after dropping my kids off at school. This is a Leader Class figure and it retails for approximately $50. So here we have BLITZWING in his the new style Legacy Leader Class packaging, which has no windows. It's all closed off, which I absolutely like. Takes me back to the old days of Kenner toys when they were all just in closed boxes. Really cool artwork of BLITZWING right there. In all of his modes, we can see his jet mode right there in the background. We can see his robot mode and we can see his tank mode. BLITZWING, Transformers Legacy logo, Leader Class, Transformers logo along the side with the Generations and the Takara logos there. Transformers Legacy logo on the top. Over here on the side, we got the splash work. As you know, if you get an Autobot box and a Decepticon box, you can put them together to make kind of like a whole picture here. But you can see Megatron, BLITZWING, and some of the other Decepticons right there, and half of what I think is Cybertron. And then on the other side, we've got close-ups of the artwork for BLITZWING. This time we get to see the jet a little closer, and we get to see that tank a little closer. Then along the back here, we've got product shots of BLITZWING. We got him in his robot mode. We can see his jet mode. We can see his tank mode. We can see some of his add-on stuff. 32 steps. It looks like we got 32 steps to go from robot to jet, and 41 steps to go from robot to tank, looks like. Don't know how many steps between the two vehicle modes. We'll find out, I guess. I'm not going to count them, in case you're wondering. I'm not going to count them. And there's his tech specs right there. So that is about it for the packaging. Let's get him opened up and check him out. Out of the package, we've got BLITZWING. He came packaged in his tank mode. We've got a sheet of instructions. We've got these two add-on pieces here that look like fists and or additional cannons. We got two hand weapons or hand blasters. And we've got a sword. And here's BLITZWING in his tank mode. This is the mode that he comes packaged in right out of the box. Now, the instructions have you transform him from tank to robot and then from robot to jet. And as you saw in the back of the package, it's 32 steps from robot to jet and 41 steps from robot to tank. So in the interest of saving time, we're going to go from tank to jet because that's actually really quick, less steps right there. And then from jet, we'll go to robot and we'll finish up in robot mode. But here is the tank mode, which is really neat. Now, none of these modes are going to be perfect. None of these vehicle modes, rather, are going to be perfect. He is a triple changer. The modes are going to compromise. So there's not going to be a perfect tank mode. There's not going to be a perfect jet mode. They're not supposed to be. Think of this as an updated or modern take on the original G1 figure. And it does exactly that. This is an update or a modernized G1 figure. So all of the faults, I guess you would call it, from the G1 figure, we're going to have them here. Not quite as bad, I think. I think they did it a little better. But yeah, it's still a very, very neat figure. And the modes are still believable, I think. So, I mean, as believable as sentient robots from another planet having a civil war on Earth are going to be. So the tank mode is approximately 7 inches long, about 2.5 inches tall. So you got a nice size on this guy just going all the way around. And most of the tank is going to be decorated in that tan with those purple highlights going all the way around. You can see the cockpit right there for the jet mode going all the way around. You can see the tank threads right there. You can see all the details are molded in for the vents and that kind of stuff like you would see on a tank. It's a really, actually, for the, you know, if you can ignore this cockpit right here, it's actually a really good take on a tank going all the way around. You got those afterburners back there, which Yeah, I mean, tanks, M1 Abrams. I used to be in an M1 Abrams unit in Korea. There's afterburners. There's a vent back there. There's like, I think it was an Apache engine in the back of this thing. So yeah, there's going to be vents back there that are blowing hard, but not quite as obvious as like jet afterburners would be. But it's a little bit of a departure. That's all right. He rolls really, really nicely. And the turret can go 360 and it can go up and down, which is super, super nice. Now, let's do comparison first. Here he is with the G1 figure, so you can see what the two of them look like together. And again, like I was saying, some of the things that you saw in the G1 figure, you're still going to see here, like that cockpit right there in the front, right under the turret. That's still going to be shown here. But yeah, other than that, you've got the little sticker afterburners. You got actual afterburners on this one. So yeah, it's pretty much an updated version of this figure right here, which is super neat. Now, let's do the accessories, because we got a bunch of accessories. And what you can do here is you can like do a super weaponized version of this, I guess. So you can take, let's start with his guns. He did come with these two guns right here. And these guns have pegs on both sides. So you can plug them back here. You can plug them up here. For the purposes of this little demo here, I'm going to put them towards the front right there. So you can put those there. So you got those weapons there. And then these are going to work kind of like these cannon mounts. So these are going to plug into the top here. We're going to use that slot and that tab to go into that tab and that slot right there. So this is going to go right in there. And then this one's going to go right in here. And that's going to work as some sort of like a missile pod back there. You know, it's silly, but it's there. It can be used. I guess it works. And then finally, if you want to get really ridiculous, we can take our sword and put it up there. Now I want you to drive me closer because I want to hit them with my sword. So there you go. If you want to do that super combat weaponized version, that's a thing that you can do. It's just neat that the options are there. Kids, I can see myself as a kid having an absolute blast with all of those accessories and just coming up with all kinds of crazy configurations for this figure. Now, like I said, in the interest of time, instead of going to robot, we're going to go to jet mode now. So we're going to start up here at the top, open this hatch up, take the turret and flip it up and over, right into the turret, and then close that right back up again. We can take, there's a lot of stuff to, it's a lot of moving parts to this figure. It seems a lot more complicated than it really is. Let's go ahead and take these panels right here. And we're going to let go of these and bring them all the way out and back. And there's a little tab right there. It's going to go in a slot right there. So do the same thing on this side here. Bring that over and tab that into place. We can go ahead and open up this cockpit right here. Reach in there and pull out the nose cone. Bring it out. Mine has a scratch on it. Came like that out of the box. Let's see. Flip the turret up and over. This is on a double hinge right there. So this is going to hinge back. But before we do that, go ahead and untap this. We're going to pull this whole thing apart right here, this whole panel here. Okay, so we're going to take these sides right here. We're going to unpeg these. These are pegged here and here. So unpeg these, and these are on a double hinge up here, you're going to notice. We want to take that tab and put it into that slot right in there. So just double fold that in. Same thing on this side. We're going to bring this up and double fold that in. That should now allow us to bring this whole piece up and over and just kind of get it up and out of the way. These two slots were tabbed into these tabs back here at the back of the tank. And what we're going to do here now is we're going to take this whole back piece here, we're going to separate it, and we're going to unfold our wings, which are right here in the legs. So go ahead and just pull these up, unfold that, and unfold that all the way out. I guess we can go ahead and take these stabilizers and bring them all the way out like that. So same thing over here, bring this up and out, and just unfold these wings all the way up and over like that. And now we can go ahead and snap these legs back together again, just like that. While we are down here, we're going to take this forward part of what was the side of the tank here. We're going to pull this out. This is on a double hinge as well. So we're going to hinge this down. You can see that was snapped in. That slot was on that tab right there. We're going to hinge it down, and then that tab is going to go into that slot right there, which is easier said than done. You got to line it up just right. Bring that down. Same thing over here. Unsnap that side, double hinge it down, and snap it into place if you can line it up just right. There we go. So that should be, everything should be lined up now. Give it a good squeeze. I think that's all good to go. That's all looking good up there. So now we're going to bring this back down again on this double hinge. And we got a tab for things here. So these two tabs here have to go into these slots here. And then these two tabs back here have to go back into these slots here. And you have to line up everything just right. And then when you bring everything down, these two tabs on the front's got to go into these two slots here. So I think actually I can get those now. And then you kind of gonna just look on the side there. So we're looking for that tab to go into that slot. Tab that in. Tab this one in the back. Same thing over here. We're looking for this tab to go into that slot. And that tab to go into that slot right in there. That's in place. That's all in place. And then these wings, believe it or not, these are going to slide in. There's a tab and a slot right there. So we're going to fold these in. We are not using these for the jet mode. Finally, two more things left to do. We're going to take these little flaps here. We're going to fold these forward. Just like that. We can reach down here, get the landing gear out, and that's going to be our jet mode. One last thing before I finalize the jet mode, which we're going to take our weapons. I'm going to pop these in right here on the side, just to kind of give them those little guns on the side right there. Now, one on that side, one on this side. We'll have everything straight. Everything looks straight. And there is Blitzwing in his jet mode. And this jet mode here has a length of approximately 7 inches with a wingspan of about 6 inches. So again, you're getting a very good size figure here. And again, I like the jet. It's a good representation of the jet that Blitzwing was in G1. I mean, I can't complain about that. Yes, there's half a tank hanging underneath it, but you know who else had half a tank hanging underneath it? The G1 figure did. You know, so again, when we put these side by side, you can really see where the inspiration came from. And these figures are extremely similar to each other. I can't complain about that. Is it a perfect jet? Of course it's not. I personally was not expecting it to be. Okay, so that's this is exactly what I was expecting out of a Blitzwing, and so far, in my opinion, this has been out of. I got a handful of Blitzwings. What was the last one that we got? I think it was like the Thrilling 30 or the Generations one, the one with the big shoulder problems. And then we had animated, and they've all been cool. But I think this has been the closest we've got to G1, and it's just an absolute beauty of a figure. I'm really enjoying this. Now, let's bring these things back in. So there's something that we can do with this. These can add on to all of the modes. So for this mode, what we're going to do is going to reach in here. We're going to pull these pieces out, and then I believe they're going to go on this way, sideways. So we're going to have the peg, this little peg down here going down, and then the two fingers, I guess, on the bottom, and the 4 fingers on the top like that. So we're going to do the same with this. Pull that out of there. Have the peg facing down, and then have that facing that way. And what we're going to do here is we're going to come back here. We're going to take the bottom half of the thrusters, or the afterburners, bring these down, and that's going to reveal those ports right there. So on those ports, we're going to put these pegs. Put that one there. Put that one there, and that gives us some kind of I don't know, super afterburner. I'm not sure what that's supposed to be, but it's a thing you can do if you want to do it. There you go. And I mean, can we put the? Here we go. Put the sword there. And now we can stab some birds as we fly along. And yeah, there you go. That's a thing you can do if you want to do it. And we'll take that sword off, and we'll take these things off. Set those off to the side. Close these back up again. So yeah, that's the jet mode. And again, I like it. I dig it. It's not a perfect jet mode. I wasn't expecting it to be a perfect jet mode, but it is the jet mode that I expected it to be. It's a G1 jet mode. It looks like G1 Blitzwing. I cannot complain about that. It's just an updated version of it, and it's a good size, as you can see. So, let's, I think that about, well, let's bring them all the way around. Let's show you all of the details here and make sure everything is straight up. Now, this one, as you saw, no rolling on this one. So, the landing gear, I guess that, I would be remiss if I didn't bring that up. So, this is just molded. That does not roll, and there are no rolling wheels back here. It would have been nice if they could figure out a way to use these little rolling wheels for the back of the jet and just kind of have him be able to roll. He can't do that. He's static. He's just going to sit there. But you can see the jet is mostly done in purple with some yellow highlights. You got nice Decepticon symbols back there. You got the stabilizers in silver. The cockpit's done in red. The nose cone's done in silver. And you have a lot of vents and details that you would normally see on a jet fighter, which is really, really neat. And again, you know, we've seen jet parts hanging out of a tank, and we've seen tank parts hanging out of a jet. You know what we haven't seen in either one of these modes? Robot parts. So again, really, really well done in my opinion, and I snapped that out of place. There you go. Let me just try to keep that all lined up. So yeah, really, really neat jet mode. I like it a lot. Okay, so finally, to transform him into robot mode, we're just going to start by taking off his guns. Set those off to the side. I think, can we get away with? I think I could probably put him on now, but I'm not going to do that now. All right, let's move this camera up. He's going to get tall. All right, where do we want to start? Let's start with, go ahead and take the bottom part of the turret here and just kind of pull this up and out. We're going to take this whole bottom section here and just kind of unpeg it back up again, which shouldn't be too hard because, as you saw, it just wants to unpeg itself. So just get that thing out of the way. And we're just going to move it down and out of the way like that. We are going to leave these folded up like that. We're just going to take these wings and bring them out. And that's pretty much going to be it for that right there. Let's go back up here again. Let's go ahead and work on the front here. We're going to take the nose cone and we can put this back away again. And while we're at it, close that up. Open this panel up, flip this around. That's going to reveal Blitzwing's head. So we can leave that out like that. Mine, it's on a ball joint. Mine's a little loose. It's very wobbly, mine. So I may want to get in there and try and tighten that up some. Okay. These little flaps here, we're going to fold these right back up again, right the way they were before. And let's go ahead and separate. Let's see. Oh, let's take the shoulder pieces here. If you remember these pieces that we folded back, we're going to bring these right back up again and snap them up here right where they were from tank mode. We're going to leave those right there. While we're here, if you look at the bottom, the legs are exposed. So we can go ahead and extend these. And these are going to extend in the exact same way, very similar to the Combiner style. If you remember, not Combiner style, well, Combiner style, I guess, Combiner Wars style. So these are just going to extend just like they did in Combiner Wars. We can separate that. And then we're going to go ahead and fold the wings right back up to wrap the legs around. You can notice that there's going to be tabs there, and they're going to go there and there. And then this little tab here is going to go into that slot right there. So we can fold all of this up nice and neat. Close all of that up again. Close that, close that, close that. All right, make sure that open these up just for the moment. When you open up the afterburners to create the feet, there is a little slot on this part of the afterburner. There's a tiny tab right there on that stabilizer. So when you open this up, tab that stabilizer into the side of the foot. So again, open this up, tab that into the side of the foot. The legs are pretty much done. We're going to take this entire backpack. We're going to bring it up like so. Snap that into place. This whole piece is going to come forward over his head. And then these two tabs are going to go into these two slots. Right there, that's going to secure in place. And we're almost done. Come to the side of the arms right here. Pull the fists out. And then this panel right here, this is going to rotate out like that. This entire panel here is going to rotate around. And then you're going to bring this panel back up again to cover up that gap. Same thing on this side. So we're going to bring the fist out. Like so. Move this panel down, rotate the whole thing around, and bring the panel up again to cover up that gap. And let me make sure that he is all good and straight. I think he is. And there we have Blitzwing in his robot mode and in his absolutely glorious robot mode. And here he's standing at approximately 7 inches tall one more time. So again, really nice, good size figure. And how beautiful is, I mean, check this guy out. None of these robot parts were hanging out of either of those alt modes. So yeah, really well done. They hid the robot really, really well. Maybe they didn't hid the alt mode parts from the other alt modes, but they hid the hell out of this robot. This robot was hidden. Very, very nice. Going all the way around. So you can see there are no gaps. There's no waffling. Nothing. This is a solid figure, and that is the breathing, living image of what we saw in that original G1 cartoon. I absolutely love this figure. I've had this figure for a few days now. I've been playing with him. He's been on my desk. I've been fiddling with him all the time. I can't put him down. I absolutely adore this figure. Articulation-wise, head is on a ball joint, as you saw, up and down, left and right, inquisitive. Mine's a little loose. Mine might need a little tightening, but otherwise, yeah, the articulation is there. Shoulders. These flaps can move. These can open. So the shoulders have there's a pin in there. So they would rotate 360, but they are going to get in the way of, or this shoulder piece is going to get in the way. So you're only going to go about that far forward and about that far back. You can go in and out. There's a rotation at the bicep. There's a bend at the elbow. And believe it or not, rotation at the wrist, even though these were on a pin hinge to come out. Really, really well done. Rotation at the waist. Legs can go forward that back that far, in and out. Rotation at the thigh. Bend at the knee. The toes can move because of the way they transform. And they are also ankle tilts. Really nice posable figure. Check that out. Come on, give me a good. I was trying to do a cool pose, but I completely failed. There you go. That's a dynamic pose. So, yeah, there you go. Really nice. Let's give him some weapons. So, I like this. Check this out. I really like this. Let me show this off now, because I really like the way that these store. You can take these guns back here, both of these, and you can snap them back here. And the way that the handle and the magazine are shaped, they wrap themselves right around that wheel, so those can perfectly be stored right back there on his back. And then you can also put his sword back here. You can put it this way, you can put it that way, you can put it to the side, whatever you want to do. But all of the weapons can be stored on his back, which is really, really nice. And you don't have a bunch of weapons sticking out from behind him. So again, that looks really, really nice. I really like the way that looks. We're going to go ahead and give him his sword on one hand, and we're going to give him this gun on this hand. So we got him all ready to battle some Autobots and some comparisons. We're going to battle comparisons. Let's get him nice and straight. Yet, absolutely beautiful, beautiful figure. Can't complain about that. One more time, there he is with his original G1 counterpart. So you can see what that looks like. We'll bring in his weapons also. Let's give him those. So you can see what that looks like, which is not great. These weapons, the way they held these weapons were so horrible. But man, we love these figures, didn't we? I think, you know, they always say that triple changers, one of the modes suffers. And I think in the case of Blitzwing, I think it was the robot mode that suffered the most out of the 3 modes. There you go. I mean, just his arms are so awful. But there you go. So you can see what the 2 of them look like together. And just because I always have him here in case of emergencies, just in case my lawnmower runs out of gas, I always have a G1 Optimus Prime right there. So you can see what the 2 of them look like together. Now, he dropped his weapon. Let's take, speaking of weapons, let's take these off for just a second. And let's bring these back in. So these can be used in this mode. And the way these are going to work is there is a port here, and there is a tab right in there. And do I need to? I think I need to. Yep. So what you're going to want to do here is open that up and put his fist away, and then close that back up again. And what you should be able to do here now is peg that in there. If I remember correctly, that should peg right in. Of course, it's not going to work for me. I may have the wrong side here. Let me see. I may have the wrong side. But the idea here is that you're going to peg I've done it. I swear to you, I've done it. That peg's in there. It creates a giant fist. That's the whole idea. I don't know why it's not working for me now. Is it maybe that they need to be on the fist? Is that maybe it? Maybe you don't put these away. Let me try that this way. Ah, I think that that's it. Okay, so you're going to flip. You're going to rotate the wrist. And then the wrist is going to grab that peg in there. There we go, just like that. There we go. So let's do that over here too. Let's get nice and crazy. We're going to grab that one like that. And now he's got giant chop hands. He's got giant gun hands or chopping hands, whatever you want to use them for. Again, I mean, it's not something like, it's not like the greatest accessory ever made, but it's a fun little accessory. And again, I can see myself as a kid having a lot of fun with that and just letting my imagination run wild. And just coming up with all kinds of crazy scenarios where these big weapons would be handy. Nowadays, I just put them off to the side. But yeah, as a kid, I can absolutely imagine myself having an absolute fabulous time with those. So, all right, let's do this. We're going to give him a sword on this hand this time. We'll give him his weapon on this hand this time. Absolutely love this figure. I was really excited when I found it on the shelf. And I have been having a lot of fun with this figure. This is an excellent, excellent, excellent update to the original G1 figure, the original G1 design. Again, it feels like the original animated character just jumped out of the screen and he's right here in my hands. Really, absolutely, totally worth it. Really love this figure. And I think that about does it for the Transformers Legacy Leader Class Blitzwing. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.